one thing that people can do if they want to growth hack anything, even if they're not marketers, if they're founders, is to think what's their unfair advantage. Uh, Looking at what others are doing for inspiration can really play against you, because it will put a spotlight on something that, yes, worked really well for others, but it's because that was easy, or that made sense for that product, made sense for that founder.
Hey, Jim, and thanks a lot for taking the time to be here today, Maya. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. It's evening time in Dubai, but I'm happy to be able to join you, and hopefully we have a good 1 hour.
Yeah, I'm sure of it. You had an interesting journey because I always feel like in crypto, there are two kinds of people. There are the people that were born into crypto, like more Gen Z, and people that actually had careers like you. And you had an interesting career before crypto. I want you to tell me a little bit about that.
I've always been, I like, since I was very little, I had this feeling that I was late because I wanted to be an artist, a fashion designer, an actress. Like, I had these ambitions that were often tied to reaching that at a young age. And I also wanted to be successful early so I could enjoy success for longer during my life. So I had this urgency, and every birthday was sort of like a burden, like, oh, another
Time is
year.
ticking.
Yes, yeah. Eventually, I lost that, which is good. But because of that, I managed to go through a lot of life experiences in a very short amount of time. I've been an actress, a fashion influencer, a music artist. I worked for a company as a social media manager, ended up doing growth hacking, did growth hacking for many companies, started like online businesses, flipped clothes online. Like, I've done so many like random things. And I have this intense, I have a lot of intensity in everything I do. I actually have to tone that down, mostly like working with others. But that allowed me to compress a lot of life experiences in a short amount of time, which after a while you start realizing that everything is sort of the same in a way. Like, the gist of stuff can kind of, you can transcribe things. You know how people will give you like life advice talking about fitness, but that also would apply to dating or career. And a lot of things in life are like that. I guess like what people call like first principles would fit this frame as well. So it was very educational to go across different areas.
It's interesting that you mentioned that you wanted to be an actress. Did somebody tell you that you kind of look like that actress Anya Taylor-Joy? You know that one from the
Oh,
menu?
I've gotten that before, yes.
Yeah,
I
you could
went
have
to
been
a
the next one.
I went to a poker event in Singapore maybe 2, 3 years ago, and the guy that was dealing the cards said that. So I thought it was funny.
Yeah, but you ended up in this rabbit hole that we call crypto. How and why? Why crypto?
It's a funny story. So my mom actually bought crypto in 2012, and eventually she sold. Like, my brother gave her like the reasonable financial advice you give to someone at that time. She sold, and then she bought back like I think a year or two later. Um, And in 2017, so mind, like, I was young and not necessarily financially savvy. Like, I was, like, I wouldn't be an actress and stuff like that. I wasn't looking at finance. Um, but in 2017, I bought Ethereum and Bitcoin. Nothing crazy, but, like, over time, it ends up being pretty good. Um, and only in 2021, after like lockdown, I was kind of bored, and I thought like, you know what, like now that, because 2017 you couldn't do much. Like if you were in the technical person, it would be hard to really contribute. And my thing has always been like driving attention to stuff, growth hacking. And in 2021, I saw like, well, like now there's products you can actually market for. And the first product I worked for was a predictions market. And
Really? So you are a
yeah,
pioneer in this space.
at the time, it didn't get the attention that it has today, obviously. But it was very similar, obviously more simple in terms of interface and everything. After a month joining, they got acquired. So I just took some time. um, and a few months later, I decided to have this strategy where I would join a company for about like 3 months. And by the time they would give me like a full time offer, I'd be like, I had like deliver the maximum like intensity, like maximum value. Um, and by the time they would want me to stay, I would leave. And I was trying to get as much uh, points, like perspectives from different products. So NFTs, DeFi, everything that was kind of like hot at the moment. And I wasn't too picky. Like the more challenging it was, the more I thought it would be good for me. Because, like if you can sell something that it's not that great, like if you can market it, if you can make it like look good or appealing, then you can sell anything.
So basically, you grew multiple brands across two scenes, Web 2, Web 3. What patterns do you spot in the ones that actually worked?
Everything work. I think one thing that people can do if they want to growth hack anything, even if they're not marketers, if they're founders, is to think what's their unfair advantage. Looking at what others are doing for inspiration can really play against you, because it will put a spotlight on something that, yes, worked really well for others, but it's because that was easy, or that made sense for that product, made sense for that founder. For something to really work for you, you have to start where you are and think, okay, what are the resources that I have? Like what's my unfair advantage? And what am I willing to do? Because sometimes it's also willingness. Like people are too afraid of looking bad. They're not bold enough. Some founders refuse to do public speaking, for example. They want to be private. Like if you're not willing to try stuff to make whatever is likely to work, then you're essentially like capping the potential. Um,
When did you feel like this whole Web3 wasn't something temporary and this is the journey you will take in your life and actually build something beautiful around it?
I would say like it's more the opposite. Like what times did I question being on it? Um, I think once you're pulled in, because it blends so much, at least for me, and I know for many people, it blends so much with your life. There's no separation, life and work. Like a lot of my friends are in the industry, um, where I'm based. Like everything has been optimized or like aligned with the industry. And at any point, like that can stop. I did think of leaving the industry more recently because I
Oh,
joined.
really?
Yeah, because it was when Trump launched the token.
Oh, I feel you. I mean, a lot of people wanted to quit.
It's because like for me, that was sad to see. One of the reasons I really liked crypto back in 2017, and I remember like at dinner parties, like mentioning, like if you're in London, you're kind of like defending why you're in crypto. Like you're talking like older men and saying like, no, this is the future. And my argument was
That
that,
cyberpunk spirit.
yeah, my argument was that, like the money wouldn't move upstream. Like finally people could move money like sideways, and they would, like be able to improve their finances without being super savvy. But from the moment that like big players come in, essentially, like it's like even with the meme coin trading, for example, if any pro player consider your table, consider like you're playing like a cards game. If a pro considered your table, you're gonna lose. Like even if the game is a nice game, this person knows how to play it better than you do. And if you bring like anyone that big into crypto, it's not something, in my view, to celebrate, because it's like this person is coming to take something out of it. And not to be negative here, but like that was sort of the feel that I had at the moment. And
The house always wins. We turned into gambling, and Trump always wins.
yeah. So, like it's not good to be emotional on these things and make emotional decisions. I didn't leave in the end, but I didn't buy the Trump token and I could have made a lot of money on it. But from a value stance, I think because it annoyed me so much, I just decided not to touch it.
I think it's good to have some principles in crypto because we have such diversified categories of people that did so much harm to this industry. So it's better sometimes to not just look at, oh, I could have made some profit there, but actually look at, let's have some morals for once and
Yeah.
defend this industry, like you said, like back in 2017.
Yeah. I don't judge people that, like ride these waves. I think, whatever makes sense to you. Um, Someone could argue like that was a mistake on my side. So,
Doesn't matter who's gonna tell what, who cares? So from that moment, you almost said, I'm going to leave this industry, but you ended up building something very cool that is called MAD. How did you end up doing this?
I had already started working on MAD before. So end of last year. Last year I was running a walk-in, which was an events platform. Basically, like I organized events before, and I knew what would bring the highest value for events. I was also like helping people getting sponsors, and also as an attendee, going to so many conferences that year, like registering to all the side events and stuff. And like when you register, you put all your information. If you invite me, you already have my email. Like, why do I have to put all this stuff again? So
Like on
basically,
Luma always
it was like a
tells
Luma
you to put
competitor.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And
Luma always tells you to put the data every time at every event.
yeah, I mean, they should change it. For me, like the main value was that you could literally select all the events you wanted to, and then register, clicking once, and then you've registered. Like if they want to accept you, they will. If not, that's fine. And then for the organizers, they would get your contact. Anyways, I did that for a while. We got like 40,000 users, 30,000 on the first 2 months, so it was pretty good. I was doing this with a friend, and then around September, she left her token. She didn't want to work on it anymore, and for me, that was like very shocking. But instead of, I sort of like was, I had been like running all year, like working on this, doing a ton of podcasts. I went to like over 40 flights, 20 something conferences. So I was living so fast paced, and that made me pause. And for that week, I just stayed longer in Singapore. And I thought, like, you know what? Like, I could work on something with a better business model. And I had something on a paper that I had been like drawing, which was how I was going to growth hack Walk-in. And I thought, like, well, I could just like give this to other companies. Like, I could just productize this. And I talked with a few people about it. What it started as is not what it is today. I started talking with a lot of marketers and a lot of influencers about it. So throughout November, December, I went to a few events and I started talking about it here and there. I didn't really start building it. And I talked with a design agency. And in January, I kickstarted like the design, and I was super picky about it. So I started with design in January. It was only almost ready. Like they never technically finished in July, August. So eventually, like the app started being built with elements that had been designed. The app only started getting built end of March, part time, and then my co-founder joined me full time in July. So it was built very fast. But for people that heard about it in November, probably thought it took a long time. And part of it was like simplifying what is the product and what do people actually want, what are people like willing to pay for, and what problems are we solving. I had been like obviously an influencer full time years ago, and I've experienced like the price is coming down, this exchanges experiences like posting on Instagram, receiving products, um, talking with other influencers at a time, and what it is today, which is very different. And from a company stance, also like, like the pains, like you're paying for something, you need to see the numbers. So I thought I was well positioned to kind of like come in the middle and solve that problem.
So you can say basically it's like an Uber for creators.
A what?
Uber for creators.
Uber. Yeah, I mean, you could say like, yeah, I mean, it would work like a marketplace. There will be more stuff that you'll be able to do. Right now, we're the ones like driving it because we want to make sure that it works well. But we are building the software so, like marketers and founders can just come in, do the search themselves, and run a campaign themselves. We will still like verify everything because obviously, like, we don't want um, any company that is a bad actor like pushing to advertise. Um, but yeah, eventually people will be able to do it themselves.
Yeah, I feel like at this point you really need to be at the steering wheel because, as you said, you've had influencer experience, so you know how creators think. You also been on the other opposite side, so you've seen how things work in Web 2, but also do they work in Web 3. So at this moment, they mad needs Maya. You can't escape. You
I
can't
think
escape.
one thing that creators can take advantage of is the fact that you're posting collectively on a campaign with other creators. It does something incredible on Twitter because once someone interacts, so say like you're part of a group of 20 people posting that day, someone interacts with your post, and a larger account is in the mix, like a 50,000 following account is in the mix. Whoever interacts with that account is likely to also see your content because they liked something and then your content is similar. So it's going to show your content to them. So it's a really good flywheel for creators to grow by being part of this. Um, yeah, I mean, like it goes beyond getting paid to post. Like there's many other advantages.
Can you tell me a little bit how the math algorithm works? Because you've given me some insights when we last talked, and I really liked how you did like I'm reviewing the accounts, last 200 tweets, and a lot of stuff. But you tell me better.
Yeah, so we look at accounts even if they're not signed up. Actually, after you sign up, we don't look at it as much. So it's like for every campaign that comes in, we can do a search and find accounts that talk about either competitive products or that have the persona that you would want talking about your product. And again, it goes beyond crypto. Like if you have like a travel product or anything, lifestyle. And then from those accounts, we have metrics that we came up with. And we have standard metrics like total engagement and impressions and so on. And that is not based on last week or last month like you would have on Instagram. That is based on previous activity. So if you don't tweet a lot, like by default, you're not going to have better metrics compared to someone that tweets a lot. Of course, it depends on the batch. Like in a specific batch, you might rank second place or something for whatever reason. But if it's like another batch you might not even be considered because you're so below everyone else. And the way to stay competitive, to have a good account, even if you want to get monetized on Twitter, to be honest, is to have a constant stream of ideas and continue to post those ideas. I mentioned this before, and like honestly, like if it doesn't perform, you can always choose to go back and delete it. Like if you want to keep your feed clean, but like keep experimenting and keep posting, because if your thing is being a content creator, if you pour a lot of effort into a single piece of content, you're and then it doesn't perform, it weighs so much to you, versus like you posting 5 times in a day. You're not putting so much effort because your audience is not big yet. So lower the effort and increase the upside of that post, which would be like, think of like ways getting engagement, think of ways of getting it to be shared, more people to get it. Whatever you're writing, will everyone understand what you're writing? Are you using simple language? Are you over explaining? Are you talking too much about yourself? Like all of these things, if you start thinking like this, you'll be a machine.
Yeah, and I can totally feel you. But what do you feel makes a great mad campaign and makes it feel real to you?
Feel weird?
No, feel real.
Oh, real.
Yeah, yeah.
So most of the campaigns I I come in the mix with ideas. Usually I will give 2 3 ideas. Sometimes the first one they already like. It starts from a point of like, what is the narrative that the company wants to push? Like Matt is great also. Like if you had an aura of being kind of like something that wouldn't be your ideal positioning in the market, whatever that is. And now you want to be cool. You want to be seen as like more engaging or something. Like you want to reposition, basically. It is good for that. So it's not just like going to like go to market strategy or presenting a new product or highlighting an event. Like it goes beyond that. So what I usually do is to think of what would drive engagement beyond the actual creator. So, what would be a good post for the creators in general? What would get their audience engaged? And then, what is the key action that you want the audience to do? And what's the key message you want them to know? And simplify that as much as possible, because if it's a first impression, you want people to get it. You want me to be able to see this and be like, I understand what this product is, and I can tell someone about it. Like I understood everything, and I didn't have to read a paragraph. Often people try to say too much. They try to like really squeeze the value of a paid post, and in my opinion, like it's not that effective.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it needs to be organic or to look organic.
It doesn't need to look organic. This is false, actually.
Yeah, okay.
With if you see a post, if you see one of your friends is on a collaboration with a company, do you instantly feel like you're being, like I'm against this, like I don't like this, like this is a paid
No,
post? Yeah,
because if he's my friend, I trust him. But that means he has a good reputation.
the main what you're trying to say is not organic, it's authentic. Meaning like if I'm talking about something and you believe that I actually like it, or that I actually tried it, that I actually mean what I'm writing, and that, yes, that is important. I think everyone, that's from the creator's point, like you should always go and with genuine interest, this company is paying you, go and learn about this company, really impress them. Like when you go and post, tell your story, tell your experience, because the company is going to double down. Like these are people behind the brand, right? So these people, like if you're the favorite creator, when they come back they will say, Mia, make sure that this person is involved in it. And then you start building this reputation also inside of Mad. We don't show this on your profile, we will, but you have some reputation. Is your content good? Are you reliable? Like when you receive a request, do you respond to it? Are you bringing other creators on the app? All of this You don't have to do. You could just have the app, and whenever it's good money, you take it. But all of this is seen. Like, these are people. You're being, nothing goes
Is
unnoticed.
basically your business card. You're building
Y-
your business card or mad.
Your attitude as a creator is 50% of the work. A lot of creators have attitude. This was one of the main complaints from companies that I've talked with. A lot of marketers, they don't want to deal with KOLs and influencers, even outside of crypto, because there's a lot of, like, you have an audience, you have this public profile, and if it
Ego.
gets to your head, yeah, it's natural. Like, celebrities will have this, and some people have uh, 20,000 followers, and if someone compliments them too much, some people won't have this, by the way. There's a lot of people that are not like this. But they might have some attitude and think like, I should get paid this much. And when you look at the numbers, reality is like, no, because you're not giving that back in value. You can build up to that. And um, if you want to keep growing, you definitely will get paid more. Like, if you're one of the creators that drives the most conversions, that gets the most views, 100%, like, you will be paid for that. But you need to, like, have this awareness.
Yeah, and what I saw at the Peanut campaign and I really liked, basically they said we're gonna work with everybody and then we're gonna make like a short list with the people that we actually liked and performed well so we can do more campaigns with them.
Yeah, I think everyone that uses math should do that, because the first impression is sort of like a chemistry test for anyone watching that runs marketing. Even if you think a creator is a fit for the brand, you don't know if the audience is a fit for the brand. And this might sound counterintuitive, but it happens. Um, Audience wise, I will give here an example. I'm sure she wouldn't mind this. But my friend Min recently went viral, and she now has a lot of followers. She's a designer, and she's an amazing designer. Like, I would recommend everyone to use her services for design. She worked with a lot of like great companies in the space. But if you go to her audience to advertise design, it might not be a good fit, because if she was at 5K and you don't have this context, we have this context because we saw her growth. She went before she went viral. She was at 5K and now she is around 13, 14K followers. If you advertise design on her profile thinking like, she's a designer, she's a girl, she's in crypto, makes sense, it wouldn't be a good fit, because more than half of her following came from the post that she went viral for. So her audience is more of a fit of that. And you would be able to know this if you could run the profile through MAD, and we do that like in volume, obviously. So this is the context you don't have. So a good thing to do is to do like sort of like a chemistry test, where like you put a product in front of the audience and you see what's the sentiment, what are the themes. This is something that comes in the report after a campaign is done. And you will get a feel of like, were people engaged? Were people curious? Do they want more? Are like they asking for more content, or are they asking like, how does it actually work? Are they? Is it sentiment positive? Is it neutral? Is it negative? And then from there, run a second campaign, more specific, with people that performed well.
Yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense. And I'm gonna do like a small exercise now and look into the future. And I'll tell you how I see things for MAD, and you can tell me if I think I'm right.
Okay.
So I see MAD actually cleaning house on City. More of that info file slope. We're not gonna see it if it gets where it is. I see MAD expanding. So right now it's only on City, but I see it expanding on Base App, Farcaster, and even on TikTok, Reels, and Shorts. I see MAD potentially becoming its own chain with the first app that actually has PMF, so like a creator chain. Or if not, at least launching on a creator-friendly chain like Base and working with Base app. And in terms of token, I'm not a big fan of tokens, but I could assume that you're gonna do a math token because I can see like the math points campaigns, and if you are doing that, I can see it with buybacks, revenue share, and maybe minimal to zero exposure to PCs.
Values wise, you're close, but let's go one by one if you want. What
One
was the
by one,
first one?
yeah. So the first one is Matt is gonna clean house on CT. Is gonna clean all the info file slop.
So, as I said before we started recording, we're not interested in removing anything. It's a fair, everything that exists. It's like it's a fair market. I think InfoFi, obviously, we're not doing that, and we don't align with it. As a marketer, like before even starting doing that, like I didn't like it. I didn't like the idea of it. I did look into it, and I remember in the beginning, like being excited for like a stream of creators being able to monetize sounded good. I think that the marketers, once if they're getting results, it will continue, and there will be money coming in, and it will continue. If it's not working, or if something better emerges, or it will force whoever is facilitating that to pivot, or to find a way to make the creators do it in a different way, like just to adjust. Because it doesn't need to be one or the other. As long as stuff works for the companies, all is fair.
Exactly. The second, right now Matt is only on CT, but I see it expanding on Base App, on Farcaster, and even on TikTok, Reels, Shorts.
Yeah, I've thought of that. Reality is, these platforms, I love trying new social media. I've been doing it before even crypto. I was
Yeah.
hyper posting on Farcaster like every 3 hours. I had alarms when they launched the what was it called? It's kind of like mini. It wasn't mini apps, but something
Mini
like
apps?
that.
Yeah, the mini apps. Yeah, they have some mini apps. On
No, I had
Farcaster.
some other name. This was like 2 years ago or something, early 2024. It had like a small boom on their app, and a lot of people were signing up. And for 3 days, every 3 hours, I was posting, and I grew my account a lot. Some people thought I was using bots, which is hilarious. It was all me spending that time
But
on
you've
the
been
app.
doing that for 10 years in real life.
When you see an opportunity, you should sign up to every app. And when something picks up and a lot of people are signing up, you should aim to be the most active person on that app if you want to maximize exposure on that app, because the algorithm is very simplified. They haven't prepared for that amount of people, and you can do so much. I've done it with Rodeo, I've done it with Zora, but some of it doesn't bring any activity back because it's actually dead. Like, the users are not spending the amount of hours people are spending on Twitter. Like, putting all these hours on Twitter, the return is way bigger than putting all these hours on any of these apps, as much as I would like it to work. So for that reason, I don't think the ROI of building things that would adapt to it would make sense. It's like marketers are more interested in us integrating YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and that also allows us to bring in bigger brands for the creators. So for you to work with huge tech brands and lifestyle brands, then maybe you would make you feel like, like you got like this massive deal.
I see Matt becoming its own chain with the first app that actually has PMF.
We don't have interest in becoming a chain. The core problem that we're fixing is our sole focus, which is allowing for marketers to run the most effective campaigns with influencers and UGC KOLs on Twitter, the most effective marketing on Twitter possible. And it already does that, because there is not anyone doing this as effective right now, and we just started. But we want to be at least 10 times better what we are right now. And part of it is like the AI model getting better. It's putting like the structure in place. It's also me putting like what's in my head in terms of like options for people to pick, so they don't need the knowledge it's already there, like structured. So all these things um, would bring you like the best tool as a marketer. The other problem that we're trying to fix is like all these creators on Twitter that grown their account so much, their only way to monetize it is X payout. And X payout might be high sometimes, but it might also decline. YouTube started cutting down how much they pay, and the YouTuber will make more money from collaborations far more than they would from YouTube payouts. So it's good to have both, but if you're going to rely on X paying you, I imagine like in years the algorithm is going to get way weaker. You're going to get way less views, and the payouts is going to be way less as well. So we just want them to be able, like if Twitter is your go-to place to express yourself and you've grown an audience there, you should be able to monetize it.
Exactly. I can expect that is gonna be a math token because I can see the math points if you do a math post. I did one. It was great. Actually, 4,000 views or something like that.
It's pretty good, yes. I think on those challenges that you were the one that did the best so far. Yeah, so obviously, we haven't spent any time thinking of tokens. When I first started this, obviously, I love crypto and I love crypto dynamics. I think, obviously, where we are right now, it wouldn't make any sense. I think launching a token is something that needs proper attention. Even like, you don't want community or like real supporters to feel that, anyone can just come and like, extract the whole thing, like even if you're doing it from a good point. So I would want like the right people like working with me on that. I think it's a distraction to do that in the beginning. This is pure opinion. I think a lot of projects attract farming and users that will then leave if you start mentioning it. If you need to mention a token to get users, something is off. And you're certain to lose these users as soon as you launch the token. So we didn't even want to mention that. We do have the point system because whatever we do, whether that's tokens, whether that's something new that crypto comes up with, whether that's something that is
It
not
builds
even
your
crypto.
reputation.
Yes, like we're able to quantify who has supported us the most, who has contributed the most for growth without instant gratification. And there's people already doing it. They're not even getting points. So I'm thinking also, how can I allocate points to their wallets without even them claiming it? Because it's very visible to me on Twitter who's like mentioning and talking about it. We're obviously like everything. If we can create everything within the app, it will be way easier. But like there's things we can do, like we can see like who's mentioning our company, right? Like who's tagging us. So maybe with the count, like how often you mention it, you would get some points. But again, like I don't want infofy, like I don't want people just tagging for no reason. So I don't like honestly assume no token until we say otherwise, but we will reward people. And the best way to take a reward from the app right now is honestly like participating on campaigns, and
Be serious.
Be reliable as a creator, like actually post on time, like communicate, create good content. If you go the extra mile on one campaign, the next one you will definitely be involved, unless it's really not a match to your profile. You're definitely going to be matched with a lot more stuff. So, and obviously you're going to make way more money. So like that's the most straightforward way to get value right now.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, as you said, you don't really need a token because as a business model, you can just take a cut, between the advertiser and the creator. And again, as you said, if you are launching a token, it's going to be a lot of pressure. And if the token doesn't perform well because the market is dying, everybody's going to say MAD is shit, even though MAD is good, because they are looking at the price of the token.
It's a distraction. And we honestly, like, reality is we don't need it. Like, we didn't raise any money. Like we totally bootstrapped, and like I thought, like God, like I might regret this once we start. But like we can generate value, and if there's money coming through, it's profitable from the beginning. So it's just a matter of scaling.
So you're not planning to do any fundraise. You want to keep it like this in the future.
I'm not saying we wouldn't. Like, I've talked with VCs, like, I have a lot of VC friends. My main feel was that people didn't really understand, because this is not necessarily a crypto product. It solves a lot of crypto problems right now, but it's not fundamentally like a super game changing idea. Like, we're it's like the most simple thing to solve like a big problem, and it exists outside of Twitter, by the way. Maybe not, maybe with not so much of like the AI stuff that we do, and there's like stuff that is specific to Twitter that really like streamlines everything. Like the way we verify, for example, other companies don't do this. And we don't rely on the top 1% of creators like some other platforms would. And our fee is also lower. Um, but what was the question?
If you are planning to do a VC round,
Oh,
but
yeah.
you basically said,
Basically we most likely we won't. We are open to like angel checks or anything like that, depending who it is. The most important thing is understanding what we're doing, and like the scale of that, like the impact that can have. um, if there's alignment, we are open to that. But I think it's because we're not in a point where
you
like we
don't
need
really need.
that to run. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you just launched and you are cashing in revenue and you have activity on the platform. I mean, that says a lot of most crypto projects out there. But again, as you said, it's not really a crypto project per se. It's solving something in crypto, but still, I mean, for me, it actually can bring a lot of good, especially to small creators that have said that niche creators can do a lot of good in the space. So personally, I'm very bullish, and once you have revenue from day one, who cannot be happier?
Yeah, and as long as you keep bringing value to all parts involved, I think, you know, just that single focus, like simplifying things and bringing the most value possible. Um, I can't go wrong with that.
Now, how big is the team right now?
Just two, just me and my co-founder.
Wow, that's crazy. You're killing it with the two
It's
people
good
team. You're
tech.
really
We
killing
have
it.
good tech. He's
Good
ex-Apple.
day.
He was at Apple 6 years and quit to join me. That was pretty good.
Oh, really? You nailed that.
Yeah, the tech. If the tech fails you, you let me know, because it's unlikely that like it shouldn't. Like he already tested it like 300 times.
I want to ask you some advice and some personal questions, let's say like this. What's your view on attention and authenticity in 2025?
In what regard?
The city space, marketing, in this bubble that we live today.
Oh, look, I can share some ideas around it. Attention is really valuable today. Like people have realized that being able to bring attention to something while people's attention span has decreased has become like obvious that is really valuable. In some areas, it is still very overpriced, and this goes beyond content creators. There's people's like overcharging for things just because it's easier. You don't know if you're going to get the value out of it. So for everyone that comes in and rolls the dice just once, they lose that money. But because there's a lot of people coming in and rolling the dice, you're able to keep the business going until it exhausts the stream, basically. So, one example is you boosting one of your posts on Instagram or Twitter, if you actually would get any value out of that whatsoever. Um, on authenticity, I think, like Twitter specifically, it's not about being authentic. Twitter's main value is entertainment. Even like information, like news. Most of the value is entertainment. How you present something, if you're able to captivate attention and make someone want to type something or share it with their audience and add their opinion, like it's entertainment. It's kind of like co-creating. Like if you can bring someone to want to be part of what you tweeted or identifies with it, it's a lot around entertaining, and that's why the shit posting does so well, because you can say the most ridiculous thing, um, and if that gets people engaging, you're doing well, because those who know will be like, this is so funny. No one's going to be like, oh, you're so inauthentic. But on other
Yeah, we
platforms
have our
like,
own slang.
yeah, on other platforms like YouTube, for example, if you do like a long form video talking about tokens and educating people, like if that is your format, and all of a sudden you're talking about a product you've never used, or you're talking about a bunch of tokens just because you've been given some tokens from that project, or you bought something and you know it's not good, but you intend to sell whatever thing you have in mind that makes you think you're a genius and you're going to cash out. Like that is very harmful for your public image, even beyond like posting content online. It does like the very opposite of the effort of like building a good public image. And once that is stained, honestly, like a lot of people don't forget and they will keep mentioning it. So if someone also like frames you bad publicly, oftentimes it's good to address it from a point of like low emotion, either with humor or facts, just so at least there's two sides to it. If you don't say anything, there will always be people that will point out to that thing. And I think like if you present yourself online in a way that kind of shows that you're willing to talk about something that was a scam or you didn't actually check, that is harmful to your image. Actually, we on Mad, like that's part of the search. So when we look at, on the creators' posts, we look like who has botted activity, who has posted slop or kind of like AI generated stuff. I know some people think this is okay, but we like to check just in case. We like to check like if, because what does that mean? It means that your account, you're like 50% there. Like if it's automated comments, for example, or generated comments, you're not there fully. Like it's not really you, it's like 50% you. And the other thing is, if you are a sellout, like will you literally tweet about anything? Will you tweet about 3 competitors in the same day? Like this doesn't strike someone that is really thinking through perception, you know?
Will you do like Ico Beast with Mega Eat?
Yeah, like
You
talking
know?
and being like an Eat Maxi and then Solana on the same day. You know, you can, but it says something.
No, I'm talking about that when he said he wants to hedge his investment and they took his allocation.
Oh, yeah, I didn't follow that. Yeah.
Yeah, he said publicly that he wants to hedge that because his allocation is $1 million or something like that. And then Brent said, yo, we're gonna just take your allocation because this is not something that you do.
Yeah. No, makes sense.
You've had a really interesting journey in both Web 2 and Web 3. Did you have any kind of mentors along the way?
No. I mean, I had some people. I have a good judgment, I'd say. I mean, obviously, like it's hard to tell from my own perspective, but I think like just based on feedback, external feedback, I've been good with like judging if something is good or bad, and I also have like insane level of bravery and just like getting into stuff without knowing what I'm getting myself into. thinking that like whatever happens, I'll get out of it. It's obviously not always great. I've been in bad places because of this attitude, but this bravery and good judgment, if you just have this bias for action, you will get a lot of information. Action produces information. And so you're able to get information faster if you take a lot of action. Um, I obviously like consumed content online, and you could say that that is some kind of mentoring. I had maybe like a couple friends that were very successful, older than me, that would give me blunt advice, like being able to take a criticism, even if when it's not delivered the best way possible. I would think like, I wouldn't take everything, but I would think like, does this make sense to me? Like, if I did what this person is telling me, what are the chances that this would actually do better? So I would consider like just keeping that open mind, like, and also like thought practices. Like, I spend a lot of time thinking, which is not something so common today, but I think it's because spending so much time on airplanes, for me, it was like time to think. And one thought practice that people can use, I took from Tim Ferriss, which is, what if I did the opposite? So we have the tendency of like, imagine you're chasing something, or you like, as a content creator, this is your style, and you just been fixated, like, this is your thing, this is your identity, this is like this. And one day you just keep hitting a wall, and it's like you can't break through this wall. And to think creatively, like even as a marketer running a campaign, what if you did the opposite? Like, go to the ridiculous. Like, what if you did exactly like, what if your target was exactly the opposite? And sometimes there's no opposite, but like, what if you're trying to do something in completely like 360, like way around? What would that look like? And this is good mental flexibility for you to see like how much room you actually have, and how to approach something from a point where it's not your basis. Because obviously, if it's not working, it's because you need to think about it like different. Tim Ferriss has amazing frames for this stuff, so I recommend like looking it up.
Before you wrap this up, because I know you have a call immediately after this, one piece of advice that you would give to creators?
um, if you want to grow, try to collaborate with other people. The way you associate with other people publicly will help you grow the fastest. And consider companies as entities themselves as well. You'll see that, like, when you post a tweet and tag other people, when you take pictures with other people, when you do like shout outs about other people, when you post content describing other people, this is when you get the most attention to your profile. You're publicly displaying who you're associated with, and you're bringing the attention from their profiles to yours. Of course, like, you can use this strategically. You can also use this to form alliances and friendships that will eventually be good to you.
Mia, thank you a lot for your time. I really learned a lot today, and I wish you all the best with Matter. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen next.
Thank you. It's been a good time.
Have a great one.
You too.